Hi, I'm Judy. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga and a Yin Yoga practice that is going to help with your glutes, your hips, and your low back, all things that are really great for runners if you happen to run, but actually really great for everybody. And it's also going to work on digestion. So more on that in a bit. Gather up any props you may need. I'm going to suggest possibly a bolster, definitely some blankets, and a couple of blocks. Okay, welcome back. You've got your props, you're ready. Come to a comfortable seated position for you. Just begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Maybe you'd like to start by breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, letting everything that's gone before this go. And if it's comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes or have them partially closed so your eyes can be unfocused. And do a quick body scan, noticing any areas of tension you feel in your body. In your jaw, your shoulders, maybe the upper back, feet or hands. Just taking a note of somewhere you feel tension. And see if you can direct that breath in and out through your nose to that area, allowing it to soften. And beginning to take your attention inward. Yin Yoga is a practice that really invites us to go deep inside of ourselves. A couple more breaths here. And slowly blink your eyes open. If you're sitting on something, come on off of it. And turn to face the short end of your mat. Grab either a bolster or a pillow, a couple of blankets, and into a tabletop position. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And on your next inhale, step your left leg forward. And those blocks can be right up here at the top of your mat. Blanket is underneath your right thigh if you choose to have it, or it could be also padding the right knee, or you don't need a blanket at all. It just depends on your body and how you're showing up today. So today, in addition to the physical intentions that I mentioned, we're also working on decreasing worry and stress. We're targeting the spleen and stomach meridians, which can help to decrease worry and also can help with digestion, and not just physical digestion of thoughts and emotions as well. And if you'd like to go a little deeper, I invite you to come down to your forearms and let your head get very heavy and point down towards your mat. So we're in low dragon. And invite you to let any worries you might feel in this moment, just feel them coming right out of your head and flowing into the mat, into the earth. And the earth is going to take those worries, it's going to digest those worries, It's going to decompose those worries, and flowers and trees and leaves are all going to bloom because you let go of your worries. And slowly take your hands to your blocks if you're using them, or to the mat. Pushing yourself upright, lifting your hips, and taking that front foot, coming back into your tabletop position. Perhaps taking the blankets over to the other side of your mat. And just pause in between. And notice what's come up for you. And as we move through this practice, I want you to think about not only the worries that you have that come from inside and from your circumstances, but the worries that are coming from outside, from social media, from TV. Your next inhale, step the right foot forward. Hands can come to blocks. And that left thigh can be on the blankets, trying to keep your right knee approximately above your ankle. So think about what worries are real and which are coming from outside sources. The news, TV, music, these are all things we actually have to digest. I hear a lot of people talk about how much they don't like social media, they don't like Facebook or Instagram, and there are a lot of things that I don't like about social media as well, but I have also connected with some really awesome people through it. An invitation to come on further down onto your forearms, if that feels right in your body today. And maybe as you hold Low Dragon, you can think to yourself, life supports me. And begin to take your hands to the mat or to the blocks, pushing your torso forward, dragging that front foot back to meet the back, and pausing in tabletop position. And just noticing any tingling in your body, any sense of movement, the differences from side to side. And go ahead and take your blocks and your blankets off to one side. Keep them handy. You may or may not want them in the next couple poses. Turn to face the long end of your mat. Take your right shin and bring it parallel to the long end of the mat. Right knee is bent. Left knee is bent. And you have a couple of choices in this pose. This is deer pose. You can take that left leg, the left thigh, also parallel to the top of your mat. Or you can bring it in a little closer so that the knee is touching the right foot. That might feel a little easier. This is a pretty intense hip stretch. And also notice whether or not both sit bones are on the mat. And maybe smile. And in deer pose, maybe think about, maybe repeat to yourself, everything happens for me. Notice I'm not saying everything happens to me, right? When we say everything happens to me, we're victims. When we say that everything happens for me, we have a sense of gratitude for the things that happen to us. And that doesn't necessarily mean that all those things are great, but it just changes how we think about them. And the more positively we think, the calmer we are, the more positive an outlook we have. On your next inhale, go ahead and take that left arm and stretch it up over your head. Getting a little side body stretch. Press into the right hand a little bit. And then taking that left hand and bringing it down to the mat, rotating so that you can look towards the short end of the mat. You also have the choice to just stay in deer. See what works for you today. And begin to come down onto your forearms. You can always have your forearms on the blocks. A gentle twist here. Massaging your internal organs. Giving your digestive system a little love. Allowing yourself to soften. Notice how when you soften, you may be able to go a little deeper. That sometimes the striving is what holds us back from achieving what we want. And then slowly take your hands to the mat. Walk them back towards your body. And you can either just take a moment to windshield wiper your legs or come into the same pose, deer pose, on the second side. And notice how this side feels as compared to the first side. For me, I'm a little tighter on this side, and it's normal. Most of us are imbalanced side to side. It's very rare to have someone who has perfect balance all throughout their entire body, especially as we get older. As you settle into this pose, allow your breath to deepen, sending oxygen and energy to those hips, to the knees, to the low back, to the glutes. And then press into your left arm, inhale the right arm up and reach over your head, really opening up the whole right side of your body. It should feel very nice. And then turning to face the short end of your mat, rotating around. And then if you'd like to go deeper, I invite you to come on down to your forearms. You can even take your hands together in prayer and stretch them out. See what feels right in your body today. Our practice is different every single day. It can even be different morning, night, middle of the day. And the only universal truth in this world is that everything changes. Allow your head to get heavy again, letting those worries flow from your head, from your heart, to the mat, into the earth. The earth can take it. The earth will transform it. Go ahead and take the palms of your hands to your mat and walk your hands back to your body, coming up straight. Take your feet out in front of you and let your knees fall over to one side and then the other. Or feel free to take whatever movement feels right. Just releasing that low back and those hips a little bit. Yin Yoga feels as if we're doing nothing, but your body is doing a lot. Okay. Go ahead and come on down onto your left side. Knees are bent. I'm going to scooch forward a little bit. And begin by taking your right foot to the mat and taking your left leg behind you. Left knee is bent, so your foot is parallel to the wall behind you, or parallel to the long end of your mat. And then begin to stretch out your right foot so that right leg is straightened out. And if you're a little bit more limber than me, you may be able to grab onto that left foot, the foot underneath you. That's not happening for me today, and that's okay. So this is a pose I haven't done a whole lot of for quite some time. You may not have seen it in my videos. It's called cat pulling its tail. And if having this top leg straight out feels like too much, you can just bend that knee, let it come down. You can take a block and put it under your foot, and that can help a little bit. And just see what your breath is doing. If it's really choppy and it's really fast, then you've probably gone too deeply into this pose. And you probably need to grab a few blocks, or props rather, to modify it and to make it more easeful for you. And go ahead and bend that top leg so both knees are bent and coming out from your body. Then slowly pressing into your right hand, coming up, or you can just turn over. I need to turn to the second side so that you can see me. So come on down to your right side. Remember, you can always grab a block to put under your foot if that felt very challenging for you, or some blankets. That'll work too. Take your right foot, knee is bent. Foot is I can actually touch the wall of my foot right now. And then if you'd like, go ahead and straighten the top leg, your left leg. And if you can reach that right foot, or yes, your right foot, and the one that's beneath you, you can go ahead and grab that ankle. I can pretty much guarantee if I tried to do that right now, I would cramp up. And that's okay. Not the cramping, but not being able to grab your ankle. So this practice was based on a practice that I had done about 3 years ago. All the practices that I am offering this month, if you happen to watch them as they come out, you could be watching them years from now, I don't know. They're all based on some popular practices that I did not long after I graduated from my yoga teacher training. Most of them, it's been about 3 years since I released them. So this one, it was a popular practice. I have made it almost completely unrecognizable in this practice. I think this practice is actually a much better practice. It makes much more sense. It's a great practice for your digestion, as I said, and if you're a runner, that can be a very good thing. It is great for your glutes and your hips and your low back. Also, all great things to strengthen for runners. And all great things, quite frankly, for most people who are active and then sit. Active and sit, active and sit. So our muscles contract. They get very yang. So the yin helps to balance out that yangness. So underneath in the description box, I will try to remember to link up the practice that this practice is based on. You can give it a try, see what you think. And always, if we're in a pose and you feel like you've been holding it too long for you, I always give you an invitation to come out, do what you need to do, come back into it if you feel you'd like to, or just rest in child's pose, or whatever pose is easeful for you. It's your practice. It's your body. You know it best. And go ahead and begin to bend that top leg. Both knees are bent. And actually just roll on over to your back. Or you could stay right as you are right now in sort of a fetal position, if that is comfortable for you. Now, everybody enjoys Savasana, which we are moving into on their back. You can be on your stomach. It all depends on what's comfortable for you. And let your legs, if you're on your back, let them come straight down your mat. Let your feet fall open. And I'm going to suggest, and once again, it's just a suggestion, that for this practice, you might want to take your hands to your stomach, since digestion is one of the focuses of this practice. And as your stomach raises and falls beneath you with your inhales and exhales, send it a little love. Thank it. Send it gratitude. Your stomach is working so hard for you, and we just take it for granted. And continue to lay in Savasana. I'm just going to sit up so that I can hold space for you. And I have just a few things I want to say. First, I'd like to read you a poem from The Right Words by Donna Ashworth. A link to that should be in the description box below as well. And the title of this poem is called Put Your Life Jacket On First. When you feel like you can't go on and worries are weighing down so heavily, you fear you may stop breathing. Take a moment to check and that those worries are actually yours to bear. You are an empath, my friend, and you are currently carrying the weight of the world on your two shoulders. You are not supposed to, nor can you cope if you continue to do so. You cannot help others by taking on everything they face. You will drown. Face your worries one by one and identify which are truly your own and which have come to you via the chaos of the news, the press, and social media. They must be the first to put aside. The world is not yours to fix, and you can't, even if you try. But what you can do is keep your little part of the planet calm and safe. And when you are strong again, and you will be, you can reach out to those who are not, one by one. Put your life jacket on first, my friend. It's the only way. This poem really speaks to me for many years, and this is something perhaps some of you watching this will be able to relate to, and maybe not. For many years, I've been taking care of my elderly parents, and that has involved going to hospitals and rehabs, many, many miles of driving, and I don't like to drive. Sleeping on the couch in my parents' apartment. It's not easy. And yes, you do have to take care of yourself. But it's hard, and I get that. I totally get that, believe me. And so if you're in that season of life as well, I'm sure that you get it. But know this for sure. This is just a season of our lives. And your caretaking may look very different from what I'm going through. There are other types of caretaking, obviously. You could have young children. You could have elderly pets. I got that too. There's all sorts of ways to be a caregiver. It's never easy. You do have to refill your cup. And you also have to know that sometimes you just won't be able to. It happens. But give yourself grace. Do what you can when you can. And now I'm going to shut up a little so that you can relax and digest this practice until you hear my voice again. Allow your breath to deepen. Allow your body to be very heavy on the mat, supported by the mat, by the earth, by life. Feel that support. Know that you are safe. And begin to move whatever you need to move. Toes, fingers, wrists, ankles, legs, hips, A little wiggle here, a little wiggle there, maybe nodding the head or moving it side to side. Now take a big, long, deep inhale as you raise your arms over your head, stretching your hands away from your feet. Eyes closed if that's comfortable. And rolling onto one side. And bottom arm cradles your head. Take a few deep breaths here. And press into your hands to slowly lift your body upright. Coming back into an easy seated position, perhaps bringing your palms together in front of your heart. This is not only a gesture of prayer, it brings together the left and right hemispheres of your brain, your logical and your creative side, so you don't have to be religious to do Anjali Mudra, prayer hand. And then begin to rub your hands together. Coming back into this moment right here, right now, and then stilling your hands in front of your heart, slightly bowing your head over your hands, and begin to blink your eyes open, taking in your mat, raising your head with a smile. Thank you so much for joining me today. Give yourself so much gratitude for taking this time for yourself. And as you move into the rest of your day or night, I encourage you to drink some water, and to be gentle with yourself, and not to just jump off your mat and immediately rush back into your day. I have a couple more things I'd like to say. You can stick around, or you can get up and slowly transition into the next thing, if that's what you'd like to do. Underneath in the description box, as I've said, you should find a link to the book that I read the poem from. You should find a link to the original practice that this was based on, but majorly changed, and I think is much better. You will find a link to my weekly newsletter, and if you sign up for that newsletter, you will get a free PDF that will give you 10 things to think about to set an intention. And if you haven't set an intention for 2023 or whatever year this may be, it is never too late. So sign up down there. And you will also find a link to my free private Facebook group. And I invite you to join us there. Don't forget to answer the questions when you sign up. There are a few guides. I suggest that you check out the guides. There was a month-long Better Core and Balance challenge a couple of years ago. Last month, and partially this month, I think, there's a 30-day meditation challenge. And both those things are in the guides. And there's also a 21 days of yoga challenge as well, which is something I did when I first started posting to YouTube. So that's a long time ago. So yeah, check out the description box. There's a lot of stuff going on down there. If you enjoyed this practice, I'm so grateful. Go ahead and click the like button. If you want to know when new videos are posted to this channel, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell. And I look forward to practicing with you again.